Today I got a special treat for you guys. There won't be any talking from behind the camera. It's actually going to be in front. So I'm going to get my beautiful wife, Amy.
Hi fans, I know so many of you hate the sound of my voice, but Shawn likes me.
I do. I love her to death. And today we've got something that we've got to do. We were going to do, our dinner tonight, but at church tonight we have a special
Go team meal.
Where everybody that volunteers are providing us dinner. So we won't have dinner here tonight. But our friends of ours had some surgery this week, and Amy wants to make vegetable soup and take it to them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do vegetable soup and cornbread.
Cornbread, yes. And I'm the one that makes the vegetable soup, and especially the cornbread. So
I can't make
this is going to be me. Let me tell you about my vegetable soup recipe. We will post it. This is, I think you've seen my mom talk about this, for Christmas in 2008. She made this for me. It's a notebook with just several of her handwritten, my favorite recipes. And one of them that's in here is vegetable soup. She has a little note at the top. It says, this isn't quite as good as Grandmother Garrett's, but almost. And so this is the base for my vegetable soup. Now, I do it a little differently. I add to it. But I always start with this. This is what Mom did. And so the first, she says, put all this in a large pot. You're gonna start with a whole stick of butter. If you're not putting butter in your vegetable soup, then you're not eating well. Let me tell you, more butter, more better. I think Paula Dean said that. But you put a whole stick of butter in the vegetable soup, and you're gonna add, she says, 1 large can of crushed tomatoes and then 1 large can of petite diced tomatoes. We shopped our pantry. We don't have any crushed tomatoes, so Shawn said, these will work. So we're just gonna put 2 large cans of petite diced tomatoes.
28 ounces
yes.
per can.
Now, all these things I pulled out, I don't know if I'm gonna put them all in the soup because this is the Dutch oven that I'm using. And once I add the liquids and everything, it's gonna fill up quickly. So I'm just gonna put as much as it will hold, but I know you've got to have your tomatoes as the base. So we're going to put 2 cans of petite diced tomatoes, and then she says a 16-ounce bag of frozen mixed vegetables. So we did have to run into Pig after church, and I got just I think it's Picked Sweet Farms is the brand of it, of just the frozen vegetables for soup. Now the way I do my vegetable soup recipe, I go by what Mama says. And then on the back of here, they have a little recipe. They call for 2 cups chicken broth. Well, in vegetable soup, I always use beef broth. So Shawn, if you don't mind, if you'll shake that up. And we're gonna add 2 cups of beef broth just because it's a little more hearty than water. Mom says she would add 2 cans of water. I always just do beef broth, so that's a little bit different. I'm going with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the seasoning. She puts a tablespoon each of salt and pepper. So let me get that in here. Good job, Shawn.
I didn't spill any.
You didn't. Okay, there's 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm going to let you be my top putter back on her. And
We work good as a team. I don't know if y'all noticed that yet.
1 tablespoon of pepper. Now, this is, like I said, just the base. I will definitely go back and add more. Daddy and I love black pepper. So, and then she puts stick of butter, a little oil. That's what my mama says, a little oil. When y'all are gonna ask for a measurement, I don't know. My mama says a little oil. So good old vegetable oil. We've already got a stick of butter. I'm gonna start with
A little oil.
About that much vegetable oil. Once it's boiling and I can taste it, I'll know. Does this need a little bit more? She says a tablespoon of dried parsley. I love dried parsley, and I put it in a lot of things. So we're gonna start with a tablespoon, but I can tell you I will be adding more of that. And then she says a tablespoon of onion flakes. I don't have onion flakes, I have onion powder. So we're gonna go with that. Tablespoon of onion powder, garlic, and honestly, might as well grab some garlic powder. I'm gonna add some of that too. I love Morton's Nature Seasoning. I put this in almost everything as well. So I'm gonna put a good amount. I mean, nature seasoning sounds like vegetable soup, so I put a good bit of that too. Now, oh Lord. Don't do too much.
I'm gonna do a half.
Okay, half a tablespoon of garlic powder, not salt. Okay, that's looking really good. Now, another secret, like my mom, if that was her, she'd go with that. We love Margaret Holmes vegetables. In the can, I know it's hard to believe. Shawn and Mama also have a garden, and we can and put up vegetables every year. You cannot go wrong with Margaret Holmes. I don't know what the seasoning is in here, but I love it. So, and like, don't rinse them, because you don't want to rinse that good stuff off. So we're putting first a can of Hoppin' John. Hoppin' John is just black-eyed peas. I think it's, black-eyed peas, peppers, and onions.
Succotash.
Yeah, succotash is corn. My can opener is on its last leg, so I will probably be getting another one soon. Okay, and then we're gonna do a can of Margaret Holmes tomato, okra, and corn. Shawn got us a spoon. See, my pot is filling up. It's filling up, and I've still got to put elbow noodles because that's something else Mom does. She puts a cup and a half of elbow macaroni, the big giant one, and this is where she's not home from church yet. They do second service, we do first service. This is where I'm gonna have to come back to you and call her. I do this every time I make vegetable soup. You think I would know. I'm gonna have to call her and say, do I put my noodles in here now, or do I cook them separately and put them in? And I'm almost positive she's gonna say I put them in there now.
Yeah.
But I can't remember for sure, so I don't know. Okay, we're gonna put some tomato sauce, just this little can of tomato sauce. Then I still have from my pantry can of green beans, can of diced new potatoes, and a can of white corn. If this were staying in my house, I would definitely add the corn because Shawn said,
she's a corn freak.
I love corn.
She loves corn.
I probably won't add any more because corn was in the frozen bag of vegetables.
The Hoppin' John.
And not the Hoppin' John, the other. Hoppin'
that's
John
what I
does
said.
not have corn.
That's what I said.
So we probably won't add any more corn. I don't know.
You want to do green beans?
Yeah, we'll put green beans in there.
You want to drain them?
I don't drain them. I just dump them in. Probably you should drain them. I'm not. What we're gonna do once we get this in and get the noodles in, we're gonna put this on the stove to simmer. She says bring to a boil, then turn down to simmer and cover, cook for 25 to 30 minutes. See, this is already full, but let me tell y'all, you can't go wrong with vegetable soup, especially with my cornbread.
And I'd like to say, there's a lot of times that we use everything that come out of the garden in our
Yeah.
house. But some of you guys out here might not have a place to garden or might not be able to get garden. So this is just as good. It's canned.
You can use canned food or like frozen from the freezer at the Pig or Walmart food and doctor it up and make it good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the first key is that whole stick of butter. You've got to put butter in your vegetable soup, in your spaghetti sauce. That's my secret ingredient. Butter makes it better.
You
okay.
do you.
You do you, boo. Okay, where are the noodles?
Right over there by the stove.
Let me get those. Okay, I like the large elbow noodles, the large macaroni noodles. We're gonna put 1.5 cups. So let's see that. Now this pot is full. Okay. I'll just save the rest of these, put them in a mason jar in the pantry for next time. But if you guys have never had, when I was growing up, like we didn't have meat for every meal. Mom has told you this before. One of my favorite dinners, and it's on my meal plan for this week, pintos and cornbread. There's no meat in that, but it is delicious. Another one of my favorite meals, and I have this for my birthday every year. Mom just makes my favorite vegetables. Well, one of my things I always ask her for are stewed tomatoes and cornbread. And stewed tomatoes are just the mason jar can of tomatoes that she and Shawn put up from their garden. My grandmother Garrett would make stewed tomatoes and she would put elbow noodles in there. Y'all, I could make myself sick
Delicious.
eating that. So good.
So good.
But again, it has butter in it, so that's what makes it good. Okay, Shawn, so we're gonna put this on the stove to get it boiling. Then once it starts boiling, we're gonna turn it down. I will cover it and simmer it for about 25 to 30 minutes. Then we're gonna taste it. Shawn's my taste tester. Whenever I make potato salad or spaghetti sauce or anything, he has to taste it to see.
I love tasting.
And once we get this going, we're gonna swap directions and we're gonna start with the cornbread.
Yep.
I'm the cornbread maker. There is a lot that this man can do. People tell me, people comment, and we see people out now that Shawn has his Sundays with Shawn, and they're like, I wish my husband cooked. Shawn is a great Sundays with Shawn cook, but who does the cooking in this house? Shawn Martin.
She cooks.
I do the cooking.
She really does, and I enjoy it.
I mean, Shawn, we love Sundays because he does it. All I have to do is video and talk.
And there's nights that I grill. Or
yeah, now I've never grilled anything in my life. Shawn grills everything. If it's meat related, pretty much he's going to do it. But everything else,
I can't make gravy. I want to make tomato gravy or white gravy.
He can't make cornbread either. He's tried.
I just can't. I don't know what it is. I can make a cake or a pie.
I've never had that.
You've had my cakes before.
No, I haven't. Okay, we're going to put this on, and we will come back shortly with how to make my cornbread. And just like I said, my cornbread is more like my dad's cornbread, but it's a little bit different. Hey y'all, welcome back to Sundays with
Shawn. Here
Shawn. And we've got the vegetable soup on to cook, so now we are going to start the cornbread. Now, the first key to making good cornbread is cast iron.
A good cast iron.
We've had this through 3 houses. I mean, this is our cornbread cast iron. Shawn seasons it. That is one thing he does. He is the cast iron.
I love cooking cast iron.
So the first thing that you have to do while I'm preparing the cornbread, we're going to show you. I pour vegetable oil just in the bottom of the skillet. No measurements, just enough to get the whole thing coated.
And the sides coated.
And the sides really good. See, I think I need a little bit more. All right. And then he is going to get it. We have a gas stove, gas oven. I mean, even back when we had electric, you still do this. He's going to go ahead and put it on the stove top and get this sizzling hot. My oven is preheating right now. Let me get my recipe. It is preheating at 450. So while that's happening, that's when you mix up your cornbread, and you want that cast iron sizzling hot before you pour the cornbread in it. This is what I keep my recipes in, except for like the book Mom made for me. These are all my old school recipe cards. This is my cornbread recipe. You start with 1 large egg, and I always beat, oh my Lord, I always beat the egg. I got some shells. I got a fork right here.
Get this. The egg.
Oh,
We're going to clean as we go today.
okay. Well, I've got to get these shells because I just crumbled it pretty much like an egg would. I guess it's pressure.
Good.
One more. I bet Mama Sue's never had to do this. Who taught me how to cook? Oh Lord, Shawn, can you get that?
I use a spoon, guys.
And before you ask, our hands are clean. Our hands are clean. Okay, I just beat the egg. I don't know why, I just do. Okay, next we're gonna put 2 cups of self-rising cornmeal. I buy a lot of things generic in this house. A lot.
2 cups?
2 cups.
That's a half.
So you're gonna put 4 of those. I will only use either White Lily or Martha White self-rising cornmeal, and I use white. I don't like yellow cornmeal. I know a lot of people do. My mama used white cornmeal. That's what I use. Okay, we got 2 cups of cornmeal. Now we're gonna put 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk.
Can you guys just drink buttermilk?
Oh Lord, no.
I want to so bad because my dad did. He'd take this with cornbread, make a meal out of it.
There's Mason. Mason's
What's wrong,
dad's
bud?
supposed to be watching him while we're making this video.
You hit your head, buddy. Okay.
Okay, 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk going in. Now we need a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and I'm just going to use the same measuring cup. There we go. 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now, here's where my recipe may differ from a lot of yours. My Aunt Belvin always made her cornbread this way. I kind of think Dad might. I don't know if Mom does or not. I put a spoon of mayonnaise. I use Bama mayonnaise just because that's what I like. You use Duke's, you use Kraft, whatever. I don't know why you wouldn't. I use a spoonful. Okay? Now, you just combine this, and here's the thing. I hope Shawn didn't put the buttermilk up.
I did.
I just know what it's supposed to look like. And if it's the consistency that I like, then I'm done. And I can pour it up once my cast iron becomes really hot. I can already look at this and tell you, it looks a tiny bit thick to me. So I think we need a splash, a literal splash of buttermilk. Not a lot. Good. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it.
You want to bring it over here?
It's gonna be hot. Okay, now to test out to see if this is hot enough, I'm gonna take a little bit more cornmeal. I'm gonna sprinkle it in here and see if it sizzles. If y'all were here, you could hear it, and that's gonna be a crunchy coating on the top of my cornbread as well. It's ready. So now, boy, Mason's really provide entertainment for this, isn't he?
Real life.
Real life. Okay, I use a scraper so I can get every last bit of goodness. I'm gonna scrape every bit of this cornbread mix into the pot, pan, whatever. And it is super hot. The grease that's already in there is coming up on the sides. That is what you want. Now, we're gonna put this in the oven at 450 for 20 to 25 minutes. I always check it after 20 because I like my cornbread crispy, not burnt. I don't like light cornbread. So at about 20 minutes, I'm gonna pull it out and I'll shake that cast iron, and if it looks firm and if it's the color I like, then it's done. If not, I'll put it back in there for about 5 minutes. Cornbread, potato salad, those are all things you do it to your liking.
Yep. You do you. Some people put corn in it or jalapenos.
I do that in Mexican cornbread. but
Crackling
just
cornbread. Have y'all had crackling cornbread? I love crackling cornbread.
For vegetable soup, I just use good old country cornbread. So when this all comes out of the oven, we will come back. We have the cornbread out of the oven. This is what it looks like, if you can see. It's kind of pulled away from the sides and the corners. Now I'm going to attempt to flip it. Have to be very careful because it's hot. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna move this. Shawn, you can hold that up and talk.
Okay. Look at the crust on that outside. Let me get a knife.
Okay. I like, some people like really thick cornbread. I'm like my dad. I like it to be not as thick, and I like it crispy. Don't spray it on it at all. I think we're gonna have to get the butter thing.
Okay.
I think we're gonna have to at least just taste a little corner, because we can't send our friends something that's been, woo, that's hot, poisoned. Y'all. Oh my word. All right, Daddy, it's hot. The best. That's, I can make a meal of that. Hot cornbread with butter. Okay.
Gosh, that's so good.
Vegetable soup and cornbread. And I know somebody's gonna comment, you didn't put any hamburger meat in your vegetable soup. We don't. We like it to be vegetable soup. I know some people make vegetable beef soup. I don't think I've ever made, I mean, I've eaten it places, but
I grew up that way. We had either deer or hamburger meat, so.
we just have vegetable and
That's what's fine
cornbread.
with me.
And that's it. So,
Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday with Sundays with Shawn.